In the chaos of Indonesia's independence struggle, one man emerged as the chief architect of guerrilla warfare, crafting a playbook that would outlast the revolution and shape the army's thinking for decades. His name, Abdul Haris Nasution. Born on December 3, 1918, in Mandaling, North Sumatra, Nasution's early path pointed to teaching rather than politics. But in 1940, as war upended the Dutch East Indies, he entered officer training in Bandung and was commissioned a second lieutenant in the Royal Netherlands East Indies Army. That professional grounding, rare among Indonesians of his generation, would become the spine of his later command. When Sukarno and Hatta proclaimed independence on August 17, 1945, the new republic needed military organizers as much as it needed fighters. Nasution joined the fledgling TKR/TNI and, in May 1946, took command of the Siliwangi Division in West Java. From the outset, he focused less on heroics than on structure, discipline, logistics, and a theory of fighting that matched Indonesia's terrain and resources. Under his leadership, Siliwangi became one of the most respected and feared units in the young republic's army. As negotiations with the Dutch seesawed, the Renville Agreement of January 1948 forced Republican forces to evacuate West Java. Siliwangi marched to Central Java, an imposed migration that taught hard lessons about mobility, civilian support, and how to fight while moving. When the Dutch struck again with Operation Cry in December 1948, Siliwangi undertook the now legendary Long March back from Central Java into West Java, reigniting guerrilla warfare in their home ground. The march became a symbol of endurance and of an army that could dissolve into the countryside and return when conditions favored it. Out of these experiences, Nasution refined a doctrine that avoided pitched battles and leveraged Indonesia's social geography. A territorial approach in which regular units, local auxiliaries, and civilians formed a seamless defense network. After the war, he codified this in Pokok-Pokok Guerrilla, Fundamentals of Guerrilla Warfare, first published in 1953. The book spread his ideas far beyond Indonesia, and together with works by Mao Zedong and Von Nguyen Giap, it became part of the global canon on people's war and counterinsurgency. With sovereignty recognized in late 1949, Nasution rose quickly. He served as Chief of Staff of the Army, was ousted after the October 17, 1952 crisis, then returned to the post in 1955. In those years, he argued for a middle way. The army would neither seize power nor retreat from public life, but take on a socio-political role to stabilize the state. This vision gave the military enormous influence over Indonesian politics. Under Suharto's new order, the concept hardened into duifungsi, the formal dual function that defined Indonesia's political life for more than 3 decades. Prominence brought peril. On the night of September 30th, 1965, troops stormed his Jakarta home. Nasution escaped over a wall, but his aide, First Lieutenant Pierre Tendayan, was seized and later murdered at Lubang Buaya. His 5-year-old daughter, Ada Irma Suryani, was shot in the attack and died days later, an indelible personal tragedy at the heart of a national convulsion. In the turbulent aftermath, Nasution helped midwife the rise of Suharto and served as Speaker of the People's Consultative Assembly, MPRS. Yet as the new order consolidated, he was eased aside, respected as a senior statesman, but increasingly at odds with the regime he had once helped legitimize. That distance in later years sharpened the paradox of his legacy, the master of people's war who also opened the door to decades of military dominance in civilian life. Abdul Haris Nasution died in Jakarta on September 6, 2000, aged 81. To many Indonesians, he remains the strategist who kept the republic alive when it was at its weakest, and the thinker whose ideas still echo in the Army's territorial system and the broader concept of total people's defense. A soldier, a strategist, a survivor, his story is inseparable from the making of modern Indonesia.